You guys have no idea how many attempts it took to record that violin part. At least 350 attempts? I think that's an underestimation. I stopped counting after like 10, 20, maybe 30? And then forget recording it. The audio engineering was a nightmare because I don't have much mixing experience. By the way, I mentioned it in the video, shoutouts to Pirata. They did an amazing job with everything. Like, oh my goodness, look how pretty the background is. I'm still not over it, and it's been like 2 weeks since I got the final product. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, dude, artists are cool. Artists are so cool. Yeah, and in the span of 4 measures, I managed to both take a huge dump on classical musicians and jazz musicians. First by bastardizing Mendelssohn, and then of course I had to end it with the lick. You know, because I can't just be satisfied with messing with the classical musicians. No, I have to tell the jazz musicians, hey, you're not safe either. Okay, time to do the time to do the slideshow. Yippee! Let's do this thing. Most of this was in the slideshow. Yes, no, duh, it's in the slideshow. Yes, yes, floor here is made of floor. I was gonna put it in imperial units because I am American, but then I realized it's about exactly 1/1000th of a mile, and I just think that's infinitely funnier to put. Obviously, I speak English, you know, in case you haven't pieced that one together, and I speak very broken French. Art tags, pen Caprielle, it's funny because pen cap, and we're just gonna ignore the small text there. Yeah, you know, we're trying to be say-so today. It doesn't need to be a huge brand risk. You know, we don't need to talk about it. We can sweep it under the rug, right guys, right? Smiley face. Things I like. Gaming. Is anyone surprised? Making and arranging music, I've been playing violin since I was like 4 years old, I want to say. So I've been playing for a while. In university, I got into arranging music, which is basically taking music and putting it on sheet music and telling other people to play it. Cooking. Feminism marches onward. Oh no. And cancelled. Plushies, I have a bunch of plushies on my bookshelf overlooking me, probably judging me. Teaching, I mean, my other job is tutoring right now, and I really enjoy teaching, so yeah, that was the plan for career, and then I fell into the VTuber rabbit hole like earlier last year, and I was just like, okay, here we go! Watching random YouTube videos, I am terminally addicted to YouTube. It is a problem. Please send help. This is not a bit. This is a cry for help. Please someone stop me. Please help. Please help. I would look it up if it didn't break my tracking, but I'm curious how much of my day on average is spent just on YouTube. Fidgeting with random objects. This is what Lord Athelstan would call the animals. I grew up like watching a lot of nature documentaries, had my dinosaur phase as a kid, never really grew out of it. I still read papers about like cool fossils they find every now and then because I'm a nerd. Math, it's what I went to university for. I just think it's cool that there's a lot of things that can be easily explained with just numbers and how applicable it is to just a lot of things in real life. Chess! I grew up with chess, and then, of course, chess got this huge resurgence during the pandemic, and that's what got me back into it. Watching stuff like PogChamps, watching XQC get checkmated in 6 moves. Hey, editing, Capri, can you put that clip in now when you eventually go back to edit this?
My is throbbing.
Sorry, XQC. Puzzles. Huge fan of puzzle games in general. Huge fan of puzzles. Understanding a puzzle and finally getting everything to put together. Dopamine rush that is unlike anything else. Board and tabletop games. I just always like board games in general. I especially like trader style games like Avalon, Mafia, a certain other one that will probably get me demonetized and canceled if I say the name aloud, but it's probably my favorite one. Yes, it's Among Us. That's the trader style game. My favorite board game. IKEA Sharks as trans rights. There's no punchline. That is the punchline. I like hugs. I am very soft. I'm pretty introverted overall, but I like hugs. Gaming. I mentioned gaming. Favorite games. Melee was my gateway into esports as a whole. Some of my earliest gaming memories in terms of getting into games outside of the casual market was just watching Mewtwo King vs. Mango at Apex 2014. Really amazing set. Got me into the game, and I've been playing it on and off ever since. I'm not any good, but I've been playing it. Splatoon, can we get a moment of silence for Splatoon 1? Okay, moment over. Splatoon's the shooter I've put the most time into. I think it's fun. It's very fun. There's a lot of weapon diversity. It just oozes style in a way that's just very unique. Minor diversions. Shoutouts to Splatoon 3 Splatfest. That was I think milk chocolate versus dark chocolate versus white chocolate. They always color code the ink colors for those events. Yeah, you can imagine the jokes that came out of the white chocolate team. Pokemon was the first game I really got into when I was like 10. My earliest gaming memories are playing Pokemon Battle Revolution. Very mid-game in terms of Pokemon games because it's just a battle simulator. But man, was it fun. It got me into Pokemon as a whole, and I've been playing it ever since. I dabble in competitive. I was top 5% in Gen 4 Smogon OU for a while. And then I've been grinding for Master Ball rank on Scarlet and Violet VGC. Shoutouts to Wolf Glick for getting me as well as many people into competitive Pokemon. Teamfight Tactics, if you don't know what this is League's side mode, which is an auto battler. After the pandemic, actually, is when I started really taking this game seriously, and I got pretty good at it. Valorant, I started off in CSGO during the pandemic, eventually switched over to Valo. I'm pretty bad at Valorant, all things considered. I think I'm like an Iron 3 or something awful like that. I enjoy watching VCT. I enjoy consuming it as a spectator. I don't know, I just think it's a really fun game. Xenoblade Chronicles, I mentioned that the Xenoblade 3 is my favorite game. Xenoblade 1 was my favorite before 3 came out. And yeah, I played all the Xenoblade games, even X. A game that Nintendo has neglected, and I'm still mad that Xenoblade X ends on a cliffhanger, and then they haven't touched it since. Thanks, Monolith Soft. Just really appreciate that, Octopath Traveler, easily top 10 game for me, the first one. And the second one isn't too far behind that. The music is amazing. Oh my goodness. One of the first music arrangements I did on a very large scale was a medley of the themes from Octopath 1, and that is one of my proudest projects ever. So that was really cool. Oh man, I love this game. I love its music. I love its art style. It's such a pretty game. The sprite work is so immaculate. It's so good. I love it so much. Fire Emblem, I mentioned I like puzzle solving, and obviously I like JRPGs, what with like Octopath and Xenoblade, so put those together and we have Fire Emblem. Favorite Fire Emblem game is probably Three Houses. Close behind is probably either Engage or Sacred Stones, and then Awakening is after both of those. League of Legends. I've lost all my viewers by saying those 3 words. Jokes aside, it's the game I've spent probably the most time as an analyst for. That game has so many layers. There are so many different diverse ways you can play champions. There are so many different builds. The items are all really interesting to dissect. Gameplay and strategy is also really fun to dissect. Man, I heckin' love Minecraft. Minecraft. Minecraft is fun. I am a nerd, so therefore I like Redstone. And then finally, on the collage is Dungeons and Dragons. Turns out roleplay is fun. I just like playing a character. In case you couldn't tell by all of this. In case you were wondering what instruments I play, you heard me play violin in the in the video. I've been playing that for most of my life. In middle school, I picked up viola, which is just a violin, but bigger. And then I started learning guitar in high school. I bought myself an electric guitar during the pandemic. I bought myself an electric bass during the pandemic. And I bought myself an electric drum kit during the pandemic. Because I figured if I'm going to be stuck inside all day, might as well learn more instruments. And then recently a friend of mine gave me a flute that he no longer used and just happened to have lying around. And I've been learning that on my spare time. Inspirations! Because everyone needs to have their inspiration slide. It'll be very fun for engagement if somehow in my delusions I somehow get to be friends with these people. And it's be like, oh, it's cool, it's cute that they mentioned them as their inspiration. Now they're, look, I'm being delusional, okay? Let me have this. Let me be a little parasocial. Because at least I'm self-aware that I'm parasocial. And that makes it so much better. Some personal goals, build my own little cozy fan base on my corner of the internet. Getting a little more comfortable in my own skin. The great thing about VTubing is that you're able to just have so much expression in who you are. I mean, obviously with the whole, hey, she, her, they, them, this is part of that journey for me. Make some covers of video game songs, emphasis on instrumental because I am not confident in my singing ability. Branch out into more musical genres. I am very classically trained and I've dabbled a little in jazz, but I want to do more. Write original music. I'm working on stuff, but it's nowhere near a finished state. Get established enough for this to be a viable source of income, because as fun as this is, and as much as I'm not doing this strictly for the money, it'd be nice. One of my long-term goals is to put on a concert of video game music. I have a set list and everything. It's just, I gotta arrange all the pieces and then like actually be big enough to afford a venue and hire people and, you know, all the managerial stuff behind that. It's gonna be a nightmare on my own. So that's very long-term when I can actually like afford to find people to help me with that. And most importantly, just be an entertainer. Just be entertaining. All of this is secondary if you guys aren't having a good time. Credits. First off, the character design for Caprielle. Jom, who is currently in chat, did the character design for Caprielle. The VRoid model that I'm currently using, I made this in VRoid Studio. The nice thing about VRoid Studio, it's very easy to make a very attractive looking model with a very low skill floor barrier to entry. So shoutouts to VRoid for being awesome. And then the logos, the overlays, the banners, the schedule that I'll eventually be putting out, the panels are by Pirata, who, I mean, you heard me squealing earlier about how pretty I think this entire overlay and this whole thing is. Couldn't have happened without them. And then finally, in case any artists want to draw me, here's the turnaround of the full model with a bunch of hex codes. For the clothes, this is an outfit that comes with VRoid Studio, so you could just export the textures from there if you really want another look at this. Yeah, that's a slideshow. That is me. I don't know, does anyone want to ask me anything about myself? Caprioke? No, no Caprioke! Not today!